Did they get him? Like, what's up, man? Did they take him out? You know, do I need to come and get him? What's up, man? You know? All right, yeah. Just hit me. All right. Shalom. So I came down to this little spot here in Culver City. Some of you have seen this waffle building. Apparently it's a Michelin restaurant. It's like some big thing to do. So I came over here to sit in the shade, and it looked kind of neat with some of this bamboo here. And I really just wanted to get out of the sun. But apparently they're gonna come over. I thought this was like a park. Actually, I thought this thing was like a park. You know what I mean?
I guess during the daytime, you know, it may as well be.
Yeah. It kind of, I was like, oh, this is like somewhere you could sit and get out of the way of the sun. But, all right, well, so we're going to pack it up and move out, maybe move over somewhere and try to find some shade and get out of these fine people's way so they can serve really expensive dinner. It's amazing how hard it is to find a place just to pull up and shoot a little footage. I ran over to Culver City, and it was, man, you couldn't, everywhere I went to I got ran out of. So now I'm somewhere here in West LA, I think. This is Culver Park. I don't know where exactly this is, but just a recap for the day. I got a late start. My intention was to come here and run around and shoot some stuff. Of course, sometimes plans change. Man, I went to the doctor yesterday, and when I left, I had forgotten to take some medication the doctor had given me. So I called them and I said, hey, can you guys just hang on to it? I'll swing by tomorrow. And the receptionist told me yes. And so when I went by this morning, I went to go in, and of course it was closed, and the sign says closed on Thursdays. I think the idea of customer service in the 21st century is dead. Yeah, I don't know if I'll really venture over again to that little spot in Hayden Track. It's this little coffee shop called Destroyer. I mean, the coffee's decent. It's not exceptional, but it's decent. But the 2 or 3 times I've been there, I just do not dig the vibe of these super disinterested, hipster cats that almost feel like they're doing you a service, not even just to wait on you, but to like even acknowledge your existence. I do not like that culture. It's not me. I really could have just tagged money right here. I don't know if he thinks he's, I don't know, maybe he's waiting on a casting call. Maybe he's like the next Brad Pitt. He didn't exactly look like the next Brad Pitt, but I don't know what Money's deal was, but I haven't quite figured this place out yet. You know, Los Angeles is massive. But after living here for 6 years, my overall impression is it's just a very impersonal place. Very, very impersonal. Of course, there's, you know, exceptions to every rule. I have to say, this young dude, I didn't realize, so that the building that I had went to, the Waffle Building, they call it the Waffle Building. It's apparently now this restaurant, and it's run by the same dude that owns or runs Destroyer. Like, number one, kind of name for a coffee shop is Destroyer, but so it's owned by the same guy. So I was sitting up, you know, so I wanted to just shoot some footage, and it was hot. You know, shooting midday is never really a good idea. The exposure is going to be really harsh, and you're going to be, you know, squinting. Either you're squinting into the light, or you're going to have a gigantic shadow cast on you, and then either you need to have like a reflector or some gigantic light to help fill in, which I didn't feel like carrying all that stuff with me today. So anyway, I had gone over where the Waffle Building was, and apparently now it's this super fancy restaurant called Vesper Time. And I was like, oh, maybe I can just set up over here in the shade for a minute and bust out this little video. And guy came out and he told me, he's like, hey, you know, we're getting ready to set up for our dinner service. But he was a nice guy. He actually saw me shooting on the sidewalk, and I can tell he was kind of interested. So he did come over. We chatted for a minute. He actually seemed like one of the few nice human beings I've met here. Is it the entertainment industry? Could be. Does it have to be that way? I don't know. But there is something impersonal. And it's weird because it kind of, you know, it clashes and is interlaced with, at least for me, like a lot of beauty. Even though, yeah, it's true, LA is not as nice as like the Bay. It's not as nice as San Francisco and Oakland and other parts. But still, LA is pretty nice. You know, obviously, you know, the weather is nice, especially when you come down this part. You're not that far from the water, so the weather is really mild, nice light. But sometimes I wish I lived closer to LA. Like, oh, there'd be more things to do, but I'm reconsidering that wisdom. So like I was saying earlier, I had a phone conversation with a friend of mine driving down today, and you know, we were just talking about relationships and how you cannot, you know, ultimately control other people, and you have to submit, right? You have to submit to things outside of your control. And we were laughing. I was like, yeah, right now I'm having to submit to the 10 and traffic moving at, you know, 20, 25 miles an hour. Not everybody is good at everything. Some people might be brilliant in their occupation, but not very good at relationships. They might be really good at parenting, but not good at relationships. They might be good at relationships, but not good at parenting. You know, it's hard for everybody to have it all. And sometimes it's hard to transcend completely our childhoods. You know, they leave such an impression upon us. I've known some people that came from very humble backgrounds, poor. And, you know, through Allah's blessing, through a lot of hard work, they came into money. And yet, they, in many ways, remained like a poor person, just with more money. Where not only did they have a penchant for wanting to buy shiny things that maybe they dreamt about when they didn't have money, but also how that money, or the things they bought with that money, it never quite panned out to give them a return on their investment. They didn't get the emotional return on investment that they thought maybe they would get from it. You know, it might not be the house, it might not be the car that gives you that sense of settledness. But ultimately, you will find that there's little influence you can have sometimes over people. Sometimes you have to either watch them make, horrible mistakes, which is, it's never fun, it's difficult. Or sometimes you have to make choices whether you want to stick around and watch them make those mistakes, and then you have to also, you yourself can be collateral damage to those kinds of mistakes, and you have to make a choice whether you can live with that or not.